Today we're looking at stem and leaf plots, and I've drawn what one looks like on the board here. The left-hand column we call the stem, all the numbers on the right we call the leaf or the leaves. The first thing I want us to make sure is that we understand how to read a stem and leaf plot. Always look for a key. A stem and leaf plot will always have a key down the bottom, so it tells you that if there's a 4 with an 8 on the other side of the line, that means 48. This number here, it doesn't just mean 1, it means 51. So it's really important to know how to read the stem and leaf plot before we go any further. The reason the key is important is because sometimes, depending on what the question's about, that 4-8 could mean 4.8. All right? So you need to make sure that you know the key, and whatever the question's about, the scenario is about, it usually gives a clue. This is data I collected on the speed that cars were travelling down a main road. So I stood there with my, that thing that cops use to see how fast you're going, and I detected the speed of every car that drove past, and these were the results that I got. So it means this car was travelling at 48 kilometres per hour, this car was travelling at 50 kilometres per hour, 51 kilometres per hour for this one, and the fastest car that I had clocked at 83 kilometres. So that's what our stem and leaf plot looks like. And the questions will ask you lots and lots of different things. For this one, I've decided to ask about the mean, median, mode, and range. So we'll go through each one step by step. I'll show you how to work it out, and the answers will come up one by one. Let's start with the mean. Look back at your notes if you have forgotten what that is asking. The mean is a fancy word for the average. So to find the average or the mean, you have to add up all of the numbers, add up all the speeds of the cars, and then divide it by how many cars there were, how many speeds there were. Now be careful, watch this, this is wrong. You do not do 8 plus 0 plus 1 plus 4, that's incorrect. That is not the speeds of the cars. The speeds are 48 plus 50 plus 51. So don't forget about the stem whenever you're looking at these numbers. So add up all of the numbers, divide it by how many numbers there are, how many leaves there are, and that'll tell you the mean. Go. When I added up all of the speeds, it equaled 693. So 48 plus 50 plus 51 blah 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 equals 693. Then I divided it by 11 because there were 11 leaves, 11 cars or 11 speeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That gave me a mean or an average speed of 63 kilometers per hour. On to the median. Now this one's a bit trickier. Some people don't like stem and leaf plots, and if that's you, I actually don't mind if you wanted to write the numbers out in one long list. It takes longer, but if you didn't like reading it like that the first time, you could just write a list of numbers and you could write 48, 50, 51. I actually don't mind if you want to take the time to do that because some people prefer it. And then it's easier when you need to add the numbers up for the mean. And for the median, you have to do that finger thing again. So when your hands, you start at the lowest number and the highest number. It can be a little bit tricky with a stem and leaf plot because you have to move in weird directions. So if you're not too sure, you can either write a list or you can start with one hand at 48 and the other hand at 83 and try and move in till you land, till your fingers meet somewhere in the middle. Or with 11 numbers, see if you can work out where the middle would be there. I don't mind how you do it. Either write the numbers in a list or do the hand thing like we practiced on the stem and leaf plot. See if you can find the middle number. I'll give you a clue. You will be circling a number here as the middle number. Have a go. Okay, the median is 62. This number here. And to get there, you know it's the middle because start from the top and count how many numbers are before that circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a circled number. How many numbers on the other side of the circle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how you know it's in the middle as well, because you've got the same amount of numbers either side of it. I don't mind how you found the median as long as you ended up with that answer. Okay, I want you to find the mode. Look at your notes again. The mode is the most common number, the most frequently occurring number. So look at your speeds and find the most common speed that the car was travelling and write it down. The answer is 67 because there were 2 cars that were travelling 67 kilometres per hour. Don't get tricked because there are 3 8s on this side. The mode is not 8 or any of those numbers because they're totally different numbers. Also, I probably shouldn't make note up here, with the median, the most common incorrect answer here is students find the middle number, they circle the 2, and then they write the median as 2. Don't forget about the stem over this side here. Remember, these are big numbers. We're talking about speeds of cars. So don't forget about the stem. Last one, range. Look at your notes to remember what range means. Highest number minus lowest number, and write down the answer. The range is 35. The fastest car was travelling at 83, and the slowest car was travelling at 48 kilometres per hour. So 83 minus 48 equals 35. All right, let's try one more. Here is my next stem and leaf plot. This time I did some research on the temperature outside every day for, well, you'll see how many days depending how many temperatures there are. But I did a bit of a survey, and each day I went outside and measured the temperature. There were quite varying temperatures. Well, that's a bit out of line, that one, that 40 was a bit lower. There were quite varying temperatures. Sometimes there were really hot days and sometimes there were really cold days. That's a bit neater, isn't it? That's better. And I wrote it down each time. This is what I ended up with. The key is very important, so it tells me that the 2-3, that means it was 23 degrees that day. The key is important because I could have been measuring temperatures of my fridge. Then that would probably mean 1.8 degrees and 2.3 degrees. So make sure you always look at the key. This time I've asked to find a few different bits of information. Let's start by finding the median. You've got to find the middle number. So do either one hand at the lowest and highest number till you get to the middle, or if you really want to, write the numbers out in the list and see if you can find the middle number, the median. Go. This time, my median or my middle number lands in between those two numbers. And again, I know it's the middle because if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how I know I'm in the middle. If you remember what to do when the median lands in the middle, when your fingers meet in between two numbers, do that now. Otherwise, look back in your notes. Remember, you need to add these two numbers up and then do something with it after that. See if you can find what to do and then we'll come back together. There's the correct answer. When the median lands in between two numbers, you have to add up those two numbers and then divide it by 2. So remember, the median isn't between 2 and 3, it's between 32 and 33. Don't forget about the stem. So I add those two numbers up and then you always just divide it by 2 and that tells you the middle. Again, because they were pretty close numbers, we could work out probably in our head the middle of 32 and 33 is 32 and a half, but that's how we do it mathematically. Now Q1, again, look at your notes. Q1 will tell you that, your notes will tell you that to find Q1, you need to go to halfway between the lowest number and the median. Now remember, we haven't circled any numbers here, so no numbers are out of play or out of bounds. Remember that. We can start from here. That's the lowest number. And then for Q1, your other finger will go on here, and you keep going till you find the middle. Go for it. The middle is this 6 here. So again, we're looking for halfway between the lowest number and the median. 1, 2, circled, 1, 2, and there's your line for your median. So be careful. The Q1 is not 6, it's 26. Do the exact same thing for Q3. That's halfway between the median and the highest number. Q3 is that 8. Again, median, 1, 2, circled, 1, 2, and then that's the end. So 38, not just 8, but 38 is Q3. Last one, look at your notes for IQR. That's a simple subtraction. See if you can work out how to do it. IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So 38 minus 26 equals 12. Let's go through the book questions.